This is the NFL Pick'em Podcast hosted by Donovan, TJ, and Mason, where we see which teacher has the best picks for the NFL season.
Hey, what's up? It's the NFL Podcast with Donovan, Mason, and Todd. We're back again here at the E11 recording studio. So, week 2, guys. That was pretty wild, I'm not going to lie.
Very big week.
Very, very, very big week.
Absolutely.
Not for the Lions, though, but...
Unfortunately. Or the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that either. You didn't have to bring that up, that was so mean.
Sorry, Donovan. I apologize.
I'm very upset right now. Let's get into some of those class rankings and the one, the only, Weber Watch.
We'll actually start off with Weber Watch. He is now 18-14, nowhere near first place. Actually, between the people that have done both 2 weeks, he is in last.
Mr. Weber, oh my goodness.
That's
not good. I don't know if he keeps picking his beloved Chicago Bears or what's the situation on that one.
I mean, if he keeps on picking them. I will say I apologize for telling you to trust the Lions. We did not come through this week.
Hey, we're going to win this week.
Definitely.
We will win this
most
week.
definitely we're beating the Atlanta Falcons.
The Chargers had a rough week losing to the Titans on an overtime field goal. I was very disappointed. But it's football. You win, you lose.
Yep.
But let's get, Todd, you want to announce our class rankings for this week?
I would. Miss Meinhardt is 8-8. I believe she did not do this week. Mr. Williams is 22-10. Miss Regalado is 19-13. Mr. Weber's 18-14. Miss Potter's 9-7. Miss Lestrange is 7-8. Mrs. McMahon is 19-13. So is Miss Lundquist. Mr. Holbrook is 8-8. Mr. G is 21-11. Mr. Dennis is 20-12. Mr. Earl's 20-12. Miss Beatty's 10-6. Miss Hertz 23-9. Miss Leach is 8-8. And Mr. Taylor and Mr. R are both 11-5.
Wow, Mr. Hertz class is taking the lead.
Miss Hertz class is taking the lead.
23 and what, 9?
They did have that hot start last week with 14 wins. They kind of cooled down this week at 9, but last week's performance just keeps them in first.
Yeah, absolutely.
The person that got most of them right, the most right this week, goes to a tie between a lot of people actually. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people got 11 wins this week. That would be Mr. Williams, Mr. G, my apologies, only 4. Mr. Taylor and Mr. R.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It truly is rare to get that many. To continue on Mr. Weber, let's actually grab this paper real quick. Let's just talk about all of Mr. Weber's picks real quick. It is right here. Mr. Weber got Thursday night's game right, guessing Philadelphia. I feel like that was kind of a gimme. I honestly, with my pick, I would have picked Philadelphia.
I saw
too.
90% of the teachers and students did pick Philadelphia when I checked the list. Most of them did. So, like you said, Todd, it was just a gimme situation, so nothing ridiculous.
He did pick Green Bay when they faced the Falcons, which did not come through for Mr. Weber. Bijan Robinson probably, just ruined this pick for Mr. Weber. Bijan had a huge week. And then he picked Buffalo against Las Vegas. I feel like that's just another gimme. And then he picked Cincinnati over Baltimore. That was kind of a gimme. Or Cincinnati over Baltimore. excuse me for saying that was a gimme. Baltimore came out on top. He did actually get that one wrong. And, you know, I don't know what's happening with Cincinnati
I don't either.
right now.
Joe Burrow's just not looking himself.
Joe Burrow is not.
I don't know if
himself.
it's the Joe Burrow injury he suffered at camp or what's the situation.
I don't know.
Because we've seen it elevate a lot on him.
Detroit, he picked Detroit against Seattle. All I gotta say is I'm sorry, Mr. Weber.
That was not a great game for these two Lion fans right next to
He picked
me.
the Chargers over Tennessee. We saw how that one went for you.
I hate that game.
He picked Chicago over Tampa Bay, but Baker Mayfield is him, so obviously that's not going to go his way. I feel like the only way he's going to pick Chicago and going to be right is if Chicago actually did something with their offensive line, which they have not. Picked Kansas City over Jacksonville, which I thought honestly would be a closer game, but Kansas City wide receivers learned how to catch this week. So
That's surprising. How did Kadarius Toney do?
He did okay. Indianapolis at Houston, he picked Indy. Anthony Richardson kind of went off this game. I'm not gonna lie, he had like 2 rushing touchdowns. He kind of went crazy.
I mean, that's better than not being crazy in the NFL.
Oh, for sure. He picked San Francisco over the Rams, which is just another gimme. Which honestly, I could definitely see the 49ers winning the Super Bowl this year. Their team is just looking stacked right now.
This week, Kadarius Toney got 5 catches for 35 yards.
I mean, he didn't do terrible.
How many catches did he get last game?
Like 2 or something. Not good. He picked the Giants over Arizona, which I almost thought the Cardinals were going to win. If you were watching that Giants versus Arizona game, you honestly would have thought that Arizona was going to win until the end. I believe it was like 28-7 or 28-0 at halftime.
Some ridiculous score that was.
And the Giants came back and scored 31 points unanswered and ended up coming over on top. He picked
never
Dallas.
thought Giants would win.
I definitely would have thought. Not during the game, but before the game, I would think the Giants would win.
Yeah.
He picked Dallas over the Jets. Dallas's defense is just too good right now.
Yes.
It's
Micah Parsons just unstoppable.
Micah, they got Trayvon Diggs, they got Stephon Gilmore. It's just crazy hours over there for Dallas's defense. He picked Denver over Washington. Not a good pick for Mr. Weber. That one did not pan out for him. He did pick Miami over New England though. And once again, we're talking about. It seems like it's just reoccurring that we're talking about Miami and their wide receiver core. Their wide receiver core is just like scary fast. I don't understand how you're supposed to guard Miami's.
I don't know how you're supposed to guard Tyreek Hill.
And even then, if you manage to double team him, you still got Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Which is the craziest thing. But then for Monday nights, he picked New Orleans over Carolina, which was right, although it was a close game. And then Cleveland, he picked Cleveland over Pittsburgh.
Nick Chubb.
Which honestly, I'd say that I definitely would have probably picked Cleveland over Pittsburgh. And they probably would have won if Nick Chubb didn't go out with that gruesome injury.
Yeah.
For one, I'd just like to say I hope Nick Chubb is able to recover and come back to football. But the way that injury looks is sending another one after he pretty much kind of looked like he did the same thing at college.
Georgia and so, yeah.
Georgia
was gross.
I just hope that he's able to return to the field.
Yeah, because he's also getting older every year, so it kind of just gives you more risk of playing the game. But, I mean, a lot, like Tom Brady said, he didn't play it for just the money. He played it because he loved the game. You know, some players come in with the intention of just doing it for money or just coming in to have fun, you know? So I don't know what his intentions are, but I hope he comes back at a full recovery because I would love to see Nick Chubb show us Cleveland some more business.
The good news that comes out of this injury, I know usually there's really no good stuff that come out of these type of injuries, but Kareem Hunt has signed a 1-year, $4 million deal with the Cleveland Browns to play one more year in Cleveland. So we'll see how he plays.
The Toledo alum himself.
I think this should be a good pickup for Cleveland. I'm glad Cleveland and Kareem Hunt were able to settle, and he was able to come back after what happened to Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Kareem is always just, when he was even in Kansas City, he was, how would I say it, this, like the Flash Mini.
Mm-hmm.
He's quick, he does not stop.
At all.
Remember how Patty Holmes could always give him the ball? He would just run that thing 30, 40 yards. No one stops him. All the jukes, all the dekes, everything on him.
Mm-hmm.
No one stopped him at all.
Let's see. What other games were good? We could talk about, though I honestly think game of the week goes to the Lions and Seahawks.
Yeah,
that was an amazing game.
Even though
you didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it, but I saw the highlights.
It's very when you think the Lions between the Seahawks, you're like, that's not gonna be a good game, because everyone knows there's a bad rep around the Seahawks the last few years since Russell Wilson has left the franchise, and Matthew Stafford left the Lions a year or two ago, and then now it's Jared Goff and St. Brown and everybody over there. It's kind of just looks like a goofy game, but then it turned out to be a pretty good game, though.
Mm-hmm. Especially last year and the year before that, the Lions and Seahawks have definitely had very good matchups. Last year, it was the highest scoring game of the whole season, 48-45. The Seahawks did end up winning that one.
I see why so many people, whenever we do the Lions game, they're like trying to do like up to the 90 in the tiebreaker score. I see why now, because I think that record kind of intimidated them.
Especially going into overtime, every NFL fan when they go into overtime is just on the edge of their seats. That one was definitely one of the most thrilling games, and I honestly think it could be one of the most thrilling games the whole season. We see the whole season. That game was just amazing, and honestly, it was just back and forth, blow after blow.
It was ridiculous.
I was in Kroger at the time, and I was like, it was very intense because I couldn't watch it, and sorry, Todd.
Wow.
Very intense. Mason hanging out at Kroger.
Actually, I was grocery shopping with my mom.
This is very important.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important for the podcast.
Another thing we could talk about is Puka Nacua has done it again. He's not a 1 week wonder. He's done it again for the Los Angeles Rams.
He's a double wonder.
He's looking amazing. He's currently wide receiver 2 on fantasy.
Kansas City, where are you guys on this one?
Let's see. He had 15 receptions on 20 targets and 147 yards and scored 30 fantasy points. The week before that, he had 10 receptions for 15 targets and 119 yards and scored 22 fantasy points. He is going off. He has broken so many records for an undrafted rookie and for just rookies in general.
Why don't Kansas City just sign this guy?
Because he's on the Rams. They might
when his contract expires, then yeah, he should. Or he can go to like a franchise like Detroit.
Oh, for sure.
I would love to see him in Detroit, because Detroit has a pretty good program right now. But like we all know how they had that rebuilding few years. Why don't they just keep building every single year, even though they're rebuilding? They already rebuilt from the ground up. Why not keep continuing straight on?
He has broken, let's see. His 10th catch on Sundays set the record for the most catches by a rookie in their first 2 games. His 11th put him over 100 yards receiving for the second game in a row. But his 12th showed just, he had 15 catches. As an undrafted rookie out of BYU, you would have thought he wasn't even going to make the roster.
Yeah.
But he's breaking records, which is the craziest thing. Now, honestly, I even had no idea who this guy was before the season started. Now I think everybody around the NFL knows who Puka Nacua is. And I honestly hope that he keeps it up the whole season.
Yeah, let's get you guys ready to go on to our next game?
Oh, yes.
Let's get to it. So, let's talk about the Chicago Bears game. So, guys, what's our opinion on that one?
I think the Bears are trash.
Todd's very straight to the point on that one.
Yeah.
Mason, what do you guys say?
I as well. I agree with Todd's statement because the Bears are trash.
Unfortunately, yeah, they're not the best at the moment.
No,
But, I mean, they're facing Patty Holmes. So, kind of what you can expect. So, Mr. Weber, I hope you didn't pick the Bears this week.
Patrick Mahomes is a dog.
Patrick Mahomes is indeed him.
Yeah. Probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL at this time.
Forget the best quarterback in the NFL. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever. At this point in time.
No.
If he retires right now, I'd say he's a top 10 quarterback all time.
I was going to say Brady beats him on that one
Brady
first.
definitely beats him right now.
I don't like Brady. I'm just saying that I don't like Brady.
As a Michigan fan, you don't like Brady?
Well,
He's the best thing to come out of your school.
He was kind of overrated.
yes.
He has 7 Super Bowls.
Okay.
One of the best players in the NFL
Mason.
ever.
I shouldn't have said that, but like I don't know.
It's like if you called LeBron James the worst NBA player ever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, he has 7 Super Bowls. And I understand that's a team stat, but still, he's got 7 of them things. He
I mean-
needs 2 hands to show you all of his rings. That was a wild statement.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Mason
whoopsies.
calls it an NFL war over here.
Who do you think is the best quarterback of all time?
Not sure.
Oh boy.
But, so, how do we feel about that Ravens game, too? It seems it's going to be an interesting game between Indy and the Ravens.
They got 2 scrambling quarterbacks.
I
Actually,
got Ravens.
I don't know who I got.
I put the Ravens.
I think the Ravens will win, but I'll be cheering for the Colts, just because I like an underdog story.
Oh, it's very different at you, Todd. You
I
never
know.
do that.
Yeah, I do actually.
Not a lot on this podcast, though.
Not on this podcast, no.
But yeah,
Especially with the Bears.
yeah, I don't think the Bears are a good bet anymore. Unfortunately, they're not the
Nope.
greatest.
Hopefully, you don't pick them in your Survivor League.
Yeah, then you lose like $30 right there. Yeah, but luckily I picked the Ravens, and I forgot who I picked last week. I picked the Bucks and the Ravens the last 2 weeks in my Survivor League, and I survived so far, which is kind of nice.
So, do you get to pick out of any game?
As long you can pick any team, but you can't pick 2 teams. You can't pick the same team twice from any of the 16 weeks. So once you are on like your last 2, you have to pick. It's a 50-50.
I'd say this week I would pick for the most sure win. And you said you picked the Bucks, and you picked who else?
I would say the Ravens
You picked the Bucks and the Ravens.
for a recommendation for Survivor leagues this week. I'm gonna have to go with for my personal Survivor. Let's see here. That's a hard decision. What do you got, Todd? If you were allowed
Honestly,
to pick one team,
Personally, not trying to be biased, I would say either the Lions. I definitely go the Lions, or I'd probably go the Chiefs.
I'm gonna have to go the Chiefs as well, cause I mean, Chicago's coming to town, and it's gonna be an interesting game
Mm-hmm.
for the Bears though. See how they survive, you know,
For sure.
because as we saw on December 22nd, 2019, Kansas City absolutely steamrolled Chicago 26-3.
You said that was 2019.
2019, right
So
before
that-
COVID.
So that was like back when the Bears were actually kind of decent.
Yeah, they were actually decent. But now all the stats are basically in Kansas City's favorite, especially defense for the points, where Kansas City is tied for 3rd place at 15 defensive points per game, while
Dang.
Chicago is 31st.
What if the Browns win it or the
Bears.
Bears win it?
Then he loses.
I think Andy Reid's gonna have to make a few decisions that are gonna be tough for the team then.
For sure. But now that Travis Kelce and Chris Jones are backed out, like
I
what we
feel
saw
like there
last
seems
week,
I don't think they're.
I think
the Bears
when
are gonna
Kelsey's out, then it kind of like.
Kelsey's not out. No, he's
No, I was saying when when Kelsey was out, it was not the best for the team, and it looked bad, and they were not 100%, and now they're back to 100%.
So now that they're back to 100%, I'm sorry, Mr. Weber, your Bears, 0 chance.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see on Sunday how that
We
game
definitely
goes.
will see on Sunday.
No.
What other game do you want to talk about?
Oh,
before we hop off?
let's talk the. Ooh, that's hard to say. Let's do Cincinnati and the Bengals. No, the Cincy Bengals plus the Rams.
All right.
That's going to be an interesting game.
I think that'll definitely be a good game.
You said a 2022 Super Bowl rematch.
Yep.
Between the AFC and the NFC. It's gonna be pretty good. The Rams are coming in at 1-1, second in the division in the NFC West, while the Bengals are coming 0-2, fourth in the AFC North. Stafford and Burrow are gonna face off against each other. I wonder. We're gonna see the battle of the quarterbacks from down south.
For sure.
Because we got Joey B, who came from LSU, and then we got Matt Stafford, who came from Georgia. So it is the battle of the South for those two quarterbacks.
It really is like an SEC showdown right now.
I wonder, who do you think's going to win this, Todd?
I actually think it's going to be the Rams. Again, as I said earlier.
I think the Rams are going to win. Well, you can finish my bet.
Yeah.
I think they'll continue. I think the Bengals will continue their struggle for about 1, maybe 2 more weeks. They'll definitely find their way back, and they'll definitely take their throne back for the AFC North. But I do think they're still going to be in their slump, and I just got the Rams coming out and winning this and shocking everybody.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on Matthew Stafford. He's also been very healthy for the last few weeks, unlike Joey B, where he's just had a lot of crap games because I don't know if it's a knee injury that he suffered in training camp, like I said before. But my guy, Puka Nacua, he is insane.
Oh, he's most definitely insane.
I think he might be psycho. So, if he plays the way he keeps playing, then I think we may need to have the Rams as our Survivor League team.
That definitely would be a good pick. I think it'll be a close game, so I probably wouldn't pick them this week.
That game, yeah.
Probably not this game, but one of your Survivor League games, I definitely would end up picking
Absolutely.
the Rams.
Let's see how the Rams are playing. The Rams this season after Cincinnati, they will be facing the Colts, the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Steelers, and the Cowboys to round it off in October. So I feel that it's going to be a pretty good season for the Rams, even though we're week 2 in. And then we'll see here. What else game we want to talk about, guys?
For our last game to talk about this week, we could go.
I was gonna say.
Let's go more in depth in this Patriots-Jets game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. The battle of the colonial America. We're gonna see.
Battle of Colonial America. I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna see 2 teams from the original colonies fight off and see who wins. Zach Wilson, he's coming back in as Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles for the season. So I wonder how we know Zach Wilson's been in the league for a hot minute, so I expect a lot out of Zach Wilson. Unlike Aaron Rodgers, you expect everything to be good with him, but unfortunately he's getting older, so he might be done. But Mac Jones, he's like 2 or 3 years in the league, but he's looking pretty good this year at an 88.3 completion rate. So I would say he seems pretty good this season, but also the Patriots are not the best this season either. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to probably go with the Jets.
I'm as well.
I'm definitely gonna go with the Jets. This is another statement game for Christian Gonzalez when he has to line up against Garrett Wilson. Honestly, I'm gonna love this battle between these 2 young stars. It's definitely gonna be an amazing game to watch.
Absolutely. Do we know what the Fox game of the week is, or no?
I have no idea.
I wonder how Robert Salah is gonna feel about the game, one of the games without Aaron Rodgers, and bringing Zach Wilson back in. I wonder,
And I could definitely end up seeing, it probably won't happen, but I could definitely see them signing a veteran QB off of free agency, somebody like Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick, because I believe that they have had Colin Kaepernick. Like, I think he's been in some workouts.
Yeah, he has actually been in some workouts, but he's just, since he was on the 49ers, it's been a few years since he played, so he might not, I don't know if they're going to add him or cut him, because he's just not been playing for a very long time, for like 3-4 years. So after not playing for 3-4 years, it kind of builds up on you. So I wonder how it's going to go on.
I think that'll actually wrap it up for this week.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week for week 3's guesses. We'll tell you who's winning for next week, and we're just gonna keep on watching. And maybe Mr. Weber will step it up next week.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I would love to see that.
I would
That'd be
definitely love to see that.
But remember, those pick forms will be in your teacher's mailbox this week.
Make sure you put your names. As teachers always preach for us to put our names, and some teachers these past few weeks have not been putting their names.
Come on, guys. Like, I can't read a squiggly line. That's not a signature, guys. Whoever's doing that, please stop. Just say me, Todd, and Mason a headache. We don't want to have to come down to your room and find you and be like, so is this yours?
Yep.
So, like I said, just keep your eye on your mailboxes, teachers, for those picks. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
Later, guys.
This has been the NFL Pick'em Podcast, hosted by Donovan, TJ, and Mason. We'll see you next week with your new picks.